Hi, this is Attorney Mike Revlin coming to you from Chicago as usual, and today we're going to look at Sovereign Citizens in Court number 12. It is deliciously awful. Let's do it.
Mr. Tatalga, you're done speaking with the
No,
jury.
I'm not done. I'm not done.
No, sir, you are.
We have miles to go.
And we start with a bang. We've got Davy Crockett here with his Ace Garage Sale sign hanging over his neck. You know it's going to be awesome. And by awesome, I mean deliciously awful.
And if you have me
continue, I will
arrested out
hold
of
you in
this court,
contempt.
I will not be abandoning the field of battle. You're on. I have sinned.
Mr. Avery, can you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sorry, I'm going to have Mr. Avery take you back to the jury room.
Wow, this is just cool in a lot of ways. This is a jury trial, and we find out that I think it's a misdemeanor traffic offense. So it does make sense that it's informal. We're in Montana, but I like this. They're covering all the bases. They've got 12 jurors. They're sitting there in like little folding chairs, but they've got this thing set up in like a rec center here. It's about as informal a court as you can see, but they're doing everything correctly.
I'm holding Mr. Tatalga in contempt.
If you fall for this, you sabotage yourself. What it's done to you, what it's done to me, it's done to you. Yeah. It is not I who have wasted your time.
We must stand. We must stand and listen to him and fight for our Constitution, which is being stolen.
Sir, if you proceed, I will also hold you
How
in
long will come
contempt.
for you either?
This is pretty interesting here, and it's not lost on them. They appreciate it, but maybe if you're not an attorney, you wouldn't know this. This is a complete breach of courtroom decorum. If you're gonna have the jury retire to another room, which is common, you stand and you're quiet. It's not time to make an argument to them on the way out and that sort of thing. Now that pales in comparison to what comes up, but I mean that's blatant contempt right there.
You were warned twice, Mr.
I
Tatalga.
don't
If
care
you
about
did
you.
not,
I question. What jurisdiction are you in?
If you
I
address
have
the court
standing
in that manner again, I will have you arrested.
I guess I should say I got this video from Van Balen. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't even know. It's a good channel. I get a lot of material from there, and those are their captions on there, so I just wanted to do that. And also, I'll put a link to the original video in the description below. Go check out that channel. It's excellent.
So I now find you in contempt.
What's
What would you would like to plead guilty or not guilty?
Why is it so hard for you to just say?
You
what
are in
jurisdiction
contempt,
you're in?
Mr. Tatalga.
No,
If
I'm
you don't
not.
be quiet right now,
You are
I will
in
have you
contempt of
arrested.
law, Stormy. You're in contempt of law. I'm standing for my
Officer
country's
Hines.
Constitution, my country's people.
Poor Officer Hines is thinking, you know, maybe I made the wrong career choice here. He looks at the judge orders him to take him into custody, and he's thinking, yeah, this is guy stuff, but he's thinking, yeah, I can do that. It's not going to be easy. He's older, but he's a big boy.
Hands off me, Wayne. I'm in private property.
If you interfere, you're
Your
going
hands off of me.
Do we understand?
Keep your hands off of me. Keep your hands off of me. Keep your hands off of me. Clayton Hines, you are guilty of conducting a military crime of offering orders.
I'm an officer.
I think it's time for a little story with Law Talk with Mike here. This takes me all the way back to when dinosaurs roamed the earth and I was in law school, and this reminds me of it so much. We had a requirement, so I had to go watch some trials, and I went to law school in the city of Chicago, and I went over to the Dirksen Center and said, hey, what's the most exciting trial going on? And they told me the courtroom number, and I took the elevator up and went there. And when I got there, there were a couple of big, beefy federal marshals sitting out there with bulletproof vests on. They had a metal detector, and this is back before everything. So there wasn't this kind of security in court generally. And I walked up there and said, can I go in? They said, sure. And I walk in there, and there are 4 or 5 more federal marshals, all bulletproof vests, guns, loaded to the teeth. And the reason why, I looked over on counsel table, and there were keys of cocaine just stacked up, like, sort of like a triangle. They're just stacked all over. It was pretty cool to see, actually. But my whole point in all of this is they anticipated, hey, maybe if we're trying a drug kingpin, he's got underworld friends that might try to disrupt the trial. And that's gets back to my whole point with this trial. I saw another video, and I think it was this, a couple of the pretrial hearings. They knew this guy was going to be trouble. Can you bring somebody else along to help this poor bailiff keep order in the court? There's this guy who's not exactly small, and he's got a dozen followers there disrupting the situation.
What are we doing? Back off. Leave me alone, Blake. This man. Leave me alone. Deserve this. He's unlawful, unconstitutional. He made his choice. Leave me alone, Blake. I have done no wrong, Jerry.
He hasn't done any wrong.
So I'm gonna get hurt. Why has no one been able to tell him what wrong he's done? Doing me hard. Why has no one been able to tell him what wrong he's done? Back on! Are you getting in it?
That is downright impressive. This prosecutor is helping wrangle, not as much. He's letting the deputy do most of it, but he's also keeping those other people back. And here's another thing that people don't realize. He's an officer of the court. And that's beyond the call of duty, but it needed to be done right now because they don't have any staff. And he cannot have this guy's followers going over there and messing with his deputy who's trying to put cuffs on him.
I'm back in my office, back me.
Nobody's ever answered the jurisdictional issue. Listen, you're under arrest. Stop it. You live here. This is martial law.
This is unconstitutional. Our freedom is being stolen. No, this is slavery. We're being pushed off this land.
I'm going to find you in contempt as well.
Why should I put my hands behind my back when I've done no wrong? Listen, I'm afraid you're going to break my wrist and damage my shoulder. I have an aging fellow with injury.
I understand. I'm asking for it. You put your hand back.
That's almost charming. He's been yammering on. He hasn't stopped, which is hilarious. He's as he's wrestling, he's still throwing off soft sit nonsense. But when he breaks down and says like, yeah, you know, I'm an older guy and this is gonna hurt. I don't know. For some reason, the human side of me just goes, okay, this is kind of charming.
When I comply, it will not be because contract is established. Can you comprehend that? And when I comply, I'm not establishing contract levy.
He continues on. Who cares about contract? It's irrelevant. And you sound like Bullwinkle.
We asked the man that to be able to speak.
My hands behind my
There's a
back.
definition of land summit. What are you doing wrong?
I'm complying under force of the absent order.
Because he asked a question. And he wanted an answer. That was it. That's all that he did wrong.
Your Honor, can I ask a question without getting contempt for it? I just have a
You
question.
can answer.
All right. I stand on a solid foundation being my Constitution and my Bible.
You people
Which I
remove my
love.
materials.
I love my country and I love my freedom.
We will.
And I want to live freely and unencumbered. I want to preserve my Constitution.
What is your question, sir?
My question is what did Ernie do wrong? What did he do wrong?
He's not following the procedure in this.
Lord has no jurisdiction.
What are the procedures to follow?
Oh, this is difficult because I know this guy's sincere. He really believes himself. And what are the procedures? Let me assure you, thank God we don't have it in here because it's so boring. But there are jury instructions read, and you go through procedures ad nauseum as to what is and isn't correct in court. So there is no confusion as the procedure. He just doesn't like the fact that you have to have a license to drive, and you know that's it. But you know, he's off base, but he's sincere.
The court has no jurisdiction. This court has never answered for one thing.
Follow the procedures for selecting the jury. Continue to speak. Continue to walk forward to the court.
Put your hands underneath my armpits. Okay?
At the very least, the common rules of being civil in a civil society. Can we hold that officer as
Remove my materials. All these people here.
No, you don't.
Listen, all these people remove my materials. Get my hat, my constitution.
And he didn't.
You guys just arrested a man trying to fight for our freedom.
No, I arrested a man who wouldn't be quiet and follow the procedures.
But you didn't establish jurisdiction. Once he challenged your jurisdiction,
Mr.
you didn't
Cherry.
establish it.
Jurisdiction had been established at his first two hearings.
We're not talking about the past, we're talking about present.
Mr. Cherry was talking about the past.
I was talking about today. He challenged the jurisdiction which can be raised at any level of proceeding.
And it had already been raised in his proceedings twice.
May I come forward and pick the book off the floor?
Yeah. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to stay. We will try Mr. Petelga in abstention. You're welcome to stay.
Are we welcome to speak on his behalf?
No, you're not welcome to speak. Once again, look at the Constitution. You have a right to represent yourself, and you have a right to be represented by counsel, not anybody else. And if you don't have that procedure in place, you don't have a trial.
No. Why not? We live in America that we are supposed, see, the government is to be governed by whom? See, I must ask you a question which I want answered in
You're
a
not
very,
letting him present
what?
himself.
The government is to be governed by whom? Do you know the government, this is in the Constitution. The government is to be governed by whom? I'm asking the judge.
This is so frustrating. Meanwhile, while he's trying to get the civics he never learned in school, you've got 12 jurors who are sitting in a room, bored out of their minds, paying babysitters, doing their constitutional duty as citizens, and sitting on jury duty. And they're all sitting in this room with, waiting for him to get done with his irrelevant questions.
I'm asking you, please, the government is to be governed by whom? Do you know the answer to this? It's in the Constitution. You raised your right hand and took an oath to uphold the Constitution.
Judge Lincoln. Yeah.
Will the hearing continue or the trial continue today?
The trial will continue today, yes.
It will, okay. Without him here?
Yes.
Now, can I ask one thing? Because we raised, when I say we, I mean, I know you.
Again, this is a minor point, but I've practiced. I'm licensed in Illinois, but mostly in Chicago, and you can't wear hats in court. If you wear hats in court, I've seen a bunch of times the judge will say, "You could please take your hat off," and if you don't, you'll be held in contempt. And now they might have different standards, and that's fine. It's not like something that I'm that hung up on, but it's hard to watch this with people walking around like they're in their living room.
Should you're commanded to know the Constitution, did you or did you not raise your right hand and swear to uphold the Constitution, not just of Montana, but the supreme law of the land of the United States of America? Did you or did you not? Yes. So my question is, do we or do we not read within this Constitution, the government is to be governed by whom?
By the people.
By we the people.
Yes,
I am we the people along with others here. And we are standing on this foundation trying to resolve what has been lost, what has just been blown apart by unlawful people enforcing unlawful color laws, which they don't have jurisdiction to do.
A jury trial is not your venue to express your grievances. There's lots of places for that. You can the public square, the internet, your legislature. There's lots of things you can do to push for change. But a trial has to proceed with decorum. Otherwise, we don't have a justice system.
No laws that are to overwrite and overrule the Constitution of the United States of America. And that's exactly what's happening. We can't even defend ourselves. We come in here trying to express and trying to, tell the jurors what's going on because they've been brainwashed. They've been manipulated by the mass media, by all these corrupt politicians. And I'm sorry when I say corrupt, I'm saying it because I have a love for my country. I have a passion to defend what my great-grandfather shed blood for. Our freedom, our God-given inherent rights of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, earn eternal gains, was trying to express one thing and one thing only. We have a right to travel freely from point A to point B unencumbered.
You do not.
And that right is being stolen every single day.
Judge, if I could, this is not a political forum for discussion. There are issues that are being raised by the gentleman or more appropriately addressed to the legislature. This is the executive, and it is enforcement of laws as adopted by the people who were elected by.
Well, I don't want to object to that. Put on record.
There's no objections here. Give me the same courtesy I just gave you. Okay. I understand exactly what you're talking about. I am not only an attorney, I have a degree in what you are arguing, in political science as well, which covers the U.S. Constitution forward, backwards, and sideways.
I understand you have a different point of view. You would like to see a different set of laws be applied. The place to do that is Helen.
No, it's right here.
No.
We're facing what's going on with
This
Bernie
is
right now.
This is a court of equals.
Well, obviously, we're in totally disagreement with you.
Gentlemen, we're gonna proceed.
You can argue
You
under.
can stay here and watch. You will not be allowed to comment. Or you're free to go.
Tried in absentia?
Yes, he's gonna be tried. We, the jury, having been duly impaneled and sworn to hear and try the above entitled criminal case, now make known in open court our verdict as to the charges to the complaint charging defendant with a violation of Montana Code annotated 61-112, driving while suspended, a misdemeanor. We find the defendant guilty. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, thank you very much for your service. You are excused.
Well, God bless America. They came to the right conclusion, and I think they did a good job. It's kind of neat from that perspective. I guess I'm fairly patriotic. You watch this, even when it's messy. They did a good job. My only knock on them is they should have staffed up to help the poor bailiff. Other than that, they got through it. The jury came to the right conclusion. Of course, he was driving while suspended. You know, we didn't go through the trial. It would not be very exciting, especially once he was taken out. You know, and this guy had his day in court. He ended up being held in contempt appropriately so, but he got to go and put on his garage sale sign, whereas Davy Crockett had apparently, which would not be allowed where I practice. And at the end of the day, the right thing happened. Here at Law Talk, we do a lot of videos answering common legal questions. We also do reviews of law in the movies and then on TV. We also share some of our more interesting cases. We're always putting out new videos. So if you like that, please hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell.